Uncle Shale. So I feel like the Conor Gaethje Khabib triangle is getting a lot of attention, but what about the T Ferg Conor Nate Diaz triangle? Because Tony and McNuggets never did end up fighting. T Ferg Diaz, Cardio Kings, Fight Island, Catchweight, now's the perfect time. And McGregor Diaz 3, maybe Conor could finally win one because let's be real, Nate beat him twice. What do you think?
Sold, young lady. I had never thought of that. I don't know that we have a full triangle there, but I hear what you're saying. You could create one real fast. If you're talking about Tony Ferguson going up to 170 to take on Nate Diaz, that works for me. I see your argument about two cardio kings. I see your argument about both are looking for something to do. You know what else I like about that? I would like to see Tony Ferguson get a break while staying busy. And moving up to 170 for a couple of fights makes a lot of sense. I mean, that is an enormous break. It is enormous relief. What Tony Ferguson has to go through emotionally, mentally, physically to get down to 155 pounds is a tremendous stress and a tremendous burden. If he was to be able to go out and train, be able to go out and fight, but not have to beat the scale the day before, he would essentially be taking half, 50% off of his plate. That would be a good way to rejuvenate. Don't forget, Nate Diaz is the world's biggest 170-pounder. Nate Diaz is a former 55-pounder himself. I will concede he's grown into 170 and he's not getting in there small, but I do see what you're saying about the matchup. And if you're going to do that matchup, let's go do it at 170. It seems as though you're possibly serving multiple masters, even one on accident. Even one on Tony Ferguson getting a bit of a break. If we're looking at the feeding of the scale as a real and true challenge, and we know that it is. We know by the looks of Tony on the scale, by the cheekbones, by how drawn out he is, by the storylines that enveloped after he had a less than expected performance against Gaethje, and it was then brought into fact that he had made weight 2 weeks before, and was that too taxing on his body? I mean, I think there's a lot of moving parts there. I don't know that I'm bullish that that fight is going to get made. There's certain things that make Nate Diaz tick. I don't know that Tony makes him tick. They're both in California. They're both jiu-jitsu guys. I think those guys would probably get along, would be my guess. A lot better and a lot more natural and organically than they would not get along. And Nate doesn't come out unless he's got heat on it. It's got to be real. There's something that makes Nate tick. He wants to get an actual fight. He doesn't want to go get in a unified rules sports sanctioned competition. He's looking for a fight. It's just a different mentality. So I don't know how likely we are to see that, but I do see what you did there. And I think that whether it's that fight or not, I think Tony Ferguson at 170, even if it's for a fight or two, makes a lot of sense. And I hear what you're saying about Conor McGregor. And if Conor and Tony are going to fight and there's no championship on the line, there's no reason they got to do that at 155. I don't have any problem with conceptually at least, what Cowboy and Conor did January 20th during Conor Mania week. I don't have any problem with 255-pounders, holidays and New Year's and all these different things. Don't worry about the scale. We're 55-pounders. We're going to weigh the same. Let's go do it at 170. Makes some sense to me. And I think that might even be helpful to Tony Ferguson. And where Tony Ferguson draws into Nate Diaz or Conor, maybe I'm making some dream fights here. I do think the idea of Tony Ferguson doing a match, but doing it at 170, I like the theme, young lady.